partially water, partially soil. Have you seen this? Water will not cover much larger depth. This kind of land is called wetland ecosystem. How much percentage of wetlands are there in the world? Around 5 to 6% of wetlands are available. In total globe, 5 to 6%. How much percentage of forest is there in the world? 33%. But in land itself, you have different kinds of living species. This is a different part. The living things, non-living things will be different. Animals, birds which are living in wetland will be different. Mostly, have you seen the bird sanctuaries? Bird sanctuaries will not have cages. Have you seen? It will be open wetland. Birds will come and it will have its habitat and it will move up. So this kind of land is called a wetland ecosystem. Water table is near or surface of the land and is covered by water is called wetland ecosystem. Is climate directly linked to CO2? More carbon dioxide in the sense, what will happen? Temperature will rise. So plants will absorb all the carbon dioxide. After absorption, where it will keep in the sense, it will take into the root and it will store all the carbon in the root. So that is why all the carbon dioxide are taken from the atmosphere and it is being stored in the root. This is one work it is doing. Second work, it takes all the groundwater from the soil and it transfers to the atmosphere. That is why when you visit in a forest, when you visit in a waterlogged area, can you see the coolness? Even though the temperature might be high, you feel the moisture, isn't it? That moisture is due to that plant. Plant is doing two important work in climate. What are they? One is absorbing the CO2 that will automatically reduce the temperature. Second thing is transpiration. Transpiration means taking the water from the root and it expires from the leaves. Have you seen the leaves will be having small dots, isn't it? When you wake up early morning, who spilled the dots there? Have anyone spilled the dots there? You can see the plants having or the grass having the dots. Why? Because it takes from the root and it transfers to the atmosphere. So two work regarding to climate the plants are doing. Wetland is called carbon sink. Less than 10% of earth land. Accurately I am saying wetland is covering 5 to 6%. Here a statistics given that less than 10% of earth surface. So this is called a productive and biodiversity ecosystem. Productive in the sense more number of nutrients we get. So this I will explain in next slide. Now let us come to India. Where are the wetlands available in India? You can see the map here. This is northern part of India. In each and every state I have given the number of wetland area. Now in North India, which is the highest wetland area? Punjab have 6 number of wetland sites. So this is the largest in the North India, and when you come into South India, in South India, Tamil Nadu have 16 number of wetlands. So this is the largest, and in Karnataka we have 4 number of wetland ecosystem. That means combination of water and land. And this is called Ramsar sites. R-A-M-S-A-R. Ramsar sites mean it is called a place where you have soil and water both. It is called Ramsar. In total India, up to 2025 June, how many Ramsar sites are there? 91. I have given you the image, no? If you count all the numbers throughout India, how many numbers of wetlands are there in India? 91 Ramsar sites are there. Around 13,59,000 hectares of wetlands are there throughout the India. So India has around 4.6. Globally 5 to 6%. India have how much land surface covered with wetland? 4.6%, and 15.2 million hectares is covered by the India. Overall world, how many Ramsar sites are there? 2,400 places are wetlands. Now, in wetland you have 3 types of wetland. Have you seen this kind of wetland? This is near seashore. When rivers are coming from the mountain and it is touching the sea, can you see this place? This is called coastal wetlands. The fresh water is mixing with salt water. The place where it mixes is called what? Estuaries. So this is the place called coastal wetlands. What is the difference of coastal wetland is the water will be salty. Salinity will be there. Next type of wetland is inland wetland. Inland in the sense, in all the sites you will be having land, only at particular place you have waterlogged area. So it will be like swamps. This is called, second type is called inland wetland. You would have heard with marsh, pond. Have you seen pond? Nearby pond you have small wetlands where water and soil will be there. There some ecosystems will be there. Next thing is human made wetlands. What they are doing here? Agriculture. Another example is rice paddies is the agricultural land, aquatic ponds, reservoirs, dams. Wherever you are storing the dam water, there you can see the merge of water and soil, isn't it? So this is another example of that. Geographically, largest wetland is in Asia. Why Asia have more number of wetlands? Because Indonesia, Malaysia, can you see all the places are covered with water, isn't it? So Asia is having the largest wetland, 31%, North America. Vegetation type. Now I have given you the overall idea. In forest you can see different biotic system, different abiotic, and in wetland you can see different. Have you heard this name? Marshes, swamp, bogs, fens, mangroves. These are different kinds of wetland. According to the vegetation they call what they plant there. According to that it is called grass and reeds. Swamps will be trees and shrubs. Wherever you have trees along with water, it is called what? Swamps. Bogs is the particular place where it is completely covered with acidic. Acidic means the industrial waste, they will be letting it into the soil. What will happen? It will be acidic in nature. There will be no plantations. You cannot consume that water. That is called what? Bogs. Fens is opposite to that. It is acidic, nutrition poor condition. Opposite to bogs is called what? Fens. Acidic and alkaline. So less acidic or alkaline. So they are rich in conditions. So this is called fens. Then mangroves are nearby seashore. These are the four differences. I have shown you know what is bog. It will be high acidic in nature. That is why pH is less than 7. So this is called bog, and fens is called greater than 7. It is called fen. So you see the difference. Swamp. Can you see largest trees are there, which is called swamp. This is also wetland. And next thing is marsh. Marshy lands are, you cannot see large tree like this. This will be available in forest. This will be there in land nearby African places where you don't have densest forest, but you have some vegetation. This is called marshy wetland. So according to the vegetation, they are in different types. Now, according to structure, what are this? In the sense, here you have the water. What are wetlands? You have water here, but before water, you have upland. Upland in the sense, from here the water is going to start. So this is called upland. Swamp. I have told you no, swamps are not having large trees. You will be having small bunches, etc. So this is called swamp. And next thing is called marsh. So you can see submerged in water. Have you seen this kind of plants will be submerged in water when you are moving towards wetland? This is called horizontal structure. How they are structured horizontally. Now from the top I have told, but from the bottom, last slide gives an idea of from the top. This slide gives an idea from the bottom. This is the deepest place, no? Deepest place, which is called what? Submerged zone. This is called deep water zone, where you have number of aquatic living beings here. So from the ponds, the fishes are being taken. That is called freshwater fish. There are two types of fishes: freshwater fish, saltwater fishes. So freshwater fishes are very cheap. From here you get the deep water zones permanently submerged and fully covered with water. Second zone is called floating level zone, which is called this level. Floating level zones are, can you see this? Shallow water zone. Floating level zone, rooted plant with leaves will be floating there. Next thing is swamp zone. This is called, third zone is called swamp. Here you can see reeds and sedges will be there. Roots are saturated. That means always the roots will be covered with water, but the plants will be above. And last zone is transition. Transition means what? Land to the water. This is called transition zone. These two zones. Now, this is a vertical structure which I have explained you in last slide. Yes, abiotic. Now, I have explained structures. Abiotics are what? Four types. What are they? Soil. Soil is first type. The forest soil will be different. Wetland soil will be different. Next thing is water. The presence and movement of water will be different. Can you see this? Always the abiotic component of the marshy land have water. Maximum you have fresh waters. When you go to mangroves, you will be having the salt water. It varies differently according to precipitation and surface water. This kind of mangroves will be differing. Soil structures are, you hear a name called hydric soil. What do you mean by hydric soil is, I have told you before starting the class. What does that plants do? Plants do to work for climate. What are they? Transpiration, then storing carbon. It is called carbon sequestration. This is a two terminology. What is that? Taking atmospheric carbon and storing in the root. Technical name is called carbon sequestration. One thing. Next thing is taking water from root and spending it out is called what? Transpiration. This is what is done in soil. All the wetland soils are known as hydric soil. Low oxygen conditions due to prolonged saturation in water. So they store the carbon inside. What happens? They don't have much oxygen. How will you get oxygen? If water is flowing from one place to another, you get more oxygen. If water is staying in one place, what will happen? You will not get oxygen. So it will be oxygen depleted. So the soil is called hydric soil. The unique condition where chemical process formation and it gives accumulation of peat. Have you heard the name peat? Peat are different kind of soil, no? When the fertilizers you need to grow plants, you can put organic peat. In flower pots, if you want to fertilizer it, you can use peat soil. If you use peat soil and grow some plants, it will grow quickly. Why? Because it have more number of nutrition. Next thing is climate. These are the abiotic components and biotic components. In a single image, you can see the difference in a wetland system. Climate, temperature, precipitation, according to that, the wetland differs. Humidity also improves. The forest condition, humidity and desert humidity will be completely different. So due to that. And last one is geographic setting. According to landscape, the abiotic component differs. Next thing is called biotic. Biotics are plants and animals. You can see in wetland, these four types of plants will be there. Blushes. Blushes means, have you seen this kind of grass? This grass is called what? Technically, it is called what? Blushes. It will be submerged in some part. Can you see? Third one is called algae. Submerged blushes, plants like algae. You can see with that lilies and duckweed. Have you seen this kind of plants? This is called duckweed. Duckweed means it will float above the water. Only the roots will be there inside. This is called duckweed. These are the biotic. And in that, what are the types of animal? Can you see alligators here? Yes, you can see. Alligators will be partially living in land, partially living in water. You see more alligators in wetland. Can you see alligator in forest? No, you cannot see. When you have water and land, then only you can see alligators. Also, the reptiles, birds will be different. There are amphibians, frogs. These are the example. Frogs, toads. These are the three things which I have highlighted you. Where does swan live? In wetland. Ducks live in wetland. Ducks need water, isn't it? They need water and land. So this is the particular area where you can see this. Insects, many types of insects, and mammals you can see beaver. This is called water. It is the primary most territory consumer. What do you mean by territory consumer in a food chain? Territory consumer means it consumes all the living species there and they are the top predator. In forest, who is the top predator? Lion, tiger, etc. Like that, in wetlands, the otter is the top predator. It eats all the fish, whatever animals are there, it will eat. It is the topmost predator in the wetland ecosystem. And microorganisms. So, you heard about bacteria. Sir, bacteria in our food, it converts milk to curd. That is one thing, irrespective of food it is doing. But respective of environment, what are the help does bacteria do? Bacteria are doing most important work to us. It decomposes, yes, excellent. It decomposes all the element. After decomposition, certain things it does. When you are digging deep and when you are taking the oil, fossil fuel from the ground, who converts that dead leaves into fossil fuel? Microorganisms called bacteria. Dead leaves are there. It is converting into fossil fuel. Then only the Russians are taking, and Russians are more powerful in the sense. Can you understand why now? Why we are depending on Russia and why we are fighting with US now? Can you understand why? Because Russia have more number of forests, they have more oil, fossil fuel. That is why we depend on them. If we want to get fossil fuel from US, it is more costly. Why? Because distance is there. We have to take that from the sea through that. But if it is Russia, you can bring from road itself, isn't it? So that is why we depend on Russia. See, this is a small thing. You can understand, sir, why I am studying this much. But these small things makes the politics, makes why you live, why we fight, etc. More number of forest, more carbon storage, bacteria will convert the forest leaf into that. Can you see this? Nitrifying bacteria. Below the plant you have different types of bacteria. One of the work, what does this plant does is nitrifying. It takes all the atmospheric nitrogen from the atmosphere and it converts into nitric and nitrates into the soil. Fermenting bacteria, etc. Methanogenic. What do you mean by methane? Have you heard this name methane? Methane gas. What they do? They take all the dead leaves and waste, they store in a particular container. After some time, it releases some gas. It is called methane gas. Can we fuel with methane gas? Is it possible? Yes. Methane is a fuel. Who converts that? Methanogenic bacteria. So bacteria help us in creating the methane. Yes. Second part is functional component. What are the functions does wetland do is, can you see river is merging with the ocean, these two places. Wetland, today what we are studying? Wetland, these two places will be covered with water. So this is called wetland, and in particular we will call it as mangrove. What is the help of wetland? If you don't have these trees, what will happen? See, river is going to merge with the sea. You imagine these trees are not there, what will happen? All the soil which is carried by the river carries soil, no? Soil and nutrients. It will directly let into the sea, which is for no use. If you have trees and plants, what will happen? All the nutrients will be stucking up in the roots. So the roots have nutrients, high nutrients. That is why you can have a biodiversity here. This helps in first one, water purification. If you have more trees, water gets purified, and by getting Pollution less. Next thing is flood control. What do you mean by flood control? If high rainfall is there, suddenly like Uttarakhand, currently you are seeing no, in Uttarakhand flood is occurring. If you have wetland there, the water will not flow in a full-fledged. It will stop due to the plants and trees. So this is a flood control. Wetlands excess water will be reducing. Next thing, what are other functions are? Carbon sequestration. I have told you, no, the CO2 is being intaken and it releases the oxygen. This uptake and intake of this is called carbon sequestration. Habitat provision. Habitat provision in the sense different types of reptiles, animals will be there. And last one is food production. Without wetland, will you have agriculture? Agriculture cannot happen. So this is a primary thing. Agriculture, what are the rice, paddy and wildlife, which are the functions? Recreation and tourism, which will help fishing, bird watching sanctuaries, etc. are the example of wetland. Hydric soil in wetland are characterized by, what is hydric soil? Low oxygen, that is called what? Not low organic. Low oxygen means what? Oxygen less. Aerobic. Have you heard this name? Aerobic. Aerobic and anaerobic. What do you mean by aerobic? You have presence of oxygen. Anaerobic, not presence of oxygen. So this is called anaerobic condition. Hydric soils have anaerobic conditions. Next thing, as per 2022 National Decadal Wetland Change Atlas, wetland coverage approximately in what percentage in India? 4.86 in India. Throughout the world, 5 to 6%. Yes. Next thing, which state has highest number of Ramsar sites in India? Tamil Nadu. Yes. Next thing, salinity in wetland is most important abiotic factor in salinity. Salinity means saltness. Coastal wetlands. Yes. Next thing, which mammal is considered as a key predator in wetland ecosystem, feeding mainly on fish? Otter. Yes. Next thing, dissolved oxygen in wetland is important for, why oxygen is required in wetland? Dissolved oxygen. Why oxygen is required? Respiration of aquatic living being. If you are not having dissolved oxygen in water, all the fishes will die. The water needs oxygen. That water, if it is poured from the top, what will happen? Fresh oxygen will be taken from the water, it will recycle. That is how it will survive. If you are not having water, how many of them tried with a small pot having a fish, within 5 to 6 days it will die. Even though you feed everything, it will die. Why? It needs dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen means there should be a motor, continuous fresh water should be there. That is why it is living. Some people, what they do, they eat fish, chicken, small kids, what they do, I want to feed that also. Feed the fish also. They put that and the fish will die. Yes or no? When we are coming from that age, we thought whatever we eat, every animals will eat. We will put that and immediately they die. So they need dissolved oxygen. What needs? Respiration for plants and animals. Next one. Excess nitrogen and phosphorus in wetlands can lead to what? Phosphorus and nitrogen. Eutrophication. Have you heard this name? Eutrophication means what? Above the water, the algae will be there. Green color algae. That is called what? Eutrophication. Why does algae form? Because of nitrogen and phosphorus. If it is high, then the algae will form. Which abiotic factor is directly influenced by both sunlight and turbidity? Sunlight and turbidity means Dull water. Turbidity means dull water. You cannot see inside. Light penetration. Yes. Next thing. Salinity in coastal wetlands is usually measured in salt. Salinity means salt. See, pH is used to find acidic or alkaline. That is called pH. What is saline? Salinity is saltness. See, in your house you have some water which will be salter, and Kaveri water will not have much salt. It will be sweeter, and RO water will be sweetest. You check salinity, no? Saltness. How will you check? ppm. Have you heard this? pp. Parts per thousands. ppm means parts per million. So this is called ppm or ppt. In anaerobic wetland soils, the oxygen level is, will you have more oxygen or will you have less oxygen? Low oxygen, because the water is not moving here and there, isn't it? So that is why you have low or absent. Next thing, wetland help in flood control primarily by, how they control flood? B, yes, B is right, storing and slowly releasing the water. Next one, the role of wetland in removing sediment and pollutions from water is called, I have told you everything: eutrophication, water purification, sequestration, evapotranspiration. Understand this. Removing sediments and pollution. You remove sediment and pollution means you get fresh water. What is that? Water purification. Next one. Wetlands act as carbon sinks, mainly because, how they store carbon? Mainly because they store carbon in vegetations and soils. Next one. Which of the following is biodiversity related to function of wetland? Biodiversity function. Providing variety of aquatic species and breeding species in ground. Number of species will be there. Last two slides. Microclimate regulation function of wetland involves balancing temperature and humidity in surrounding areas. Next one. Which economic activity is most directly supported by wetland? By having wetland, how you can generate revenue? Bird watching sanctuaries or tourism.